On November 1st, 2024, Serbia erupted into a wave of protests that would redefine its political landscape. What began as a localized outcry soon grew into a nationwide movement against government corruption, media control, and a deepening sense of democratic decay. The initial spark came after a tragic accident in Novi Sad, the collapse of a newly renovated train station structure that killed 15 people. The project, funded through controversial contracts with foreign construction firms, became a symbol of the government's alleged cronyism and negligence. What followed was not just outrage, but an awakening. Students quickly emerged as the driving force. Across universities in Belgrade, Novi Sad, Niš, and Kragujevac, lectures were suspended and campuses transformed into protest hubs. Faculty buildings were barricaded, banners unfurled from rooftops, and makeshift stages erected for performances, speeches, and concerts. Through social media, students coordinated relay marches, long-distance demonstrations, connecting cities by foot or bicycle. They turned protest into performance art, street murals of bloodied hands, flash mobs symbolizing silenced voices, and candlelight vigils for the victims. Professors, artists, and musicians joined in solidarity, turning the movement into a cultural revolution as much as a political one. The ruling Serbian Progressive Party, SNS, led by President Aleksandar Vučić, had long faced criticism for consolidating power, suppressing opposition media, and manipulating the judiciary. The Novi Sad tragedy exposed how deep the rot ran: rigged tenders, inflated contracts, and unregulated partnerships with state-backed companies. Reports soon surfaced that intelligence services had harassed student leaders, calling their parents, issuing threats, and labeling them foreign agents. Yet instead of silencing dissent, these tactics only fueled public anger. As demonstrations spread, the government's response grew more aggressive. Police deployed tear gas, water cannons, and mass arrests became routine. On March 15th, 2025, chaos escalated when protesters reported the use of an unknown weapon, a device emitting high-frequency sound that caused dizziness and nausea. Authorities denied it, but footage circulated online showing demonstrators collapsing and clutching their ears. Clashes intensified, with masked pro-government groups allegedly attacking crowds while police stood by. The brutality only strengthened the protesters' resolve, uniting diverse factions under one cry: justice for the people. By mid-2025, protests had spread to nearly 90 towns and cities, from Belgrade to Niš, Subotica, and even small rural communities. Roads were blocked, public buildings occupied, and nightly marches filled the streets with chants and drums. The movement had no single leader. It was a living organism, fueled by collective frustration and digital mobilization. Now, 1 year later, the tension is rising once again. As the anniversary of the uprising approaches, activists are preparing for another wave of demonstrations, a second autumn. The government has made token reforms, minor anti-corruption measures, vague promises of judicial independence. But for many, it's too little, too late. New leaders have emerged within the student ranks, tech-savvy, strategic, and fearless. Plans circulate for hybrid protests, physical gatherings supported by massive online coordination and encrypted communication channels. Will November 1st, 2025 become the turning point in Serbia's modern history? One thing is certain: the fire that ignited a year ago still burns fiercely. Across Serbia, the voices demanding justice and transparency refuse to fade. The streets are watching, the world is too.